Velkommen til podcasten Rekruttering. En uformel kaffesnak om spændende emner og konkrete problematikker inden for og omkring rekruttering. Bag mikrofonerne finder du kollegaerne, researcher Mads Bang og administrerende direktør Allan Rønsholt fra Highr.
Hi, Frans.
Hi, Allan.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you again.
It's been some time. I hope you are doing well. You're looking well, and I presume you're also doing well in Holland.
Yes, we're doing great here in Holland. The weather is nice, despite we had some heavy rain on Saturday. But now it's 27 degrees, and by the end of the week, probably tropical temperatures again.
Oh.
Could you say a bit of that a bit further north? That would be very much appreciated.
Yeah, we are open for some of that. We also need some stable, nice summer weather. We could do with a little bit more of that.
Yeah.
Sure. Excellent. Welcome, Frans. It's been a while since we have talked. We have had some cooperation. Will be regarding recruitment for your company and your team here in Denmark. We'll be going a little bit into that because we thought here, for one thing, that it was a very interesting process, and also that it is a process that is a little bit out of the ordinary for us, since you are based in Holland. And we like that cooperation, and we thought afterwards that it might be interesting if you were up for it to get a little bit of a talk about how you experienced it. So that's why we've invited you, and thank you very much for joining in and giving us some of your thoughts when looking back on this recruitment process. So first of all, Frans, could you tell us a little bit, introduce us and the listeners to you and your background and the company Bedrocan?
Yes, of course I can, Allan. I looked it up, and the first time we talked was the 4th of May last year, so already more than 1 year ago. I'm the HR manager of Bedrocan International since March last year. I'm an HR all-rounder with over 30 years of experience. And at Bedrocan, when I joined Bedrocan, we were looking for expansion to Denmark. And we were close to having a building, and yes, you can't operate a building without staff. So we made a recruitment plan, and we thought, we will not do it on our own. The recruitment and selection, we need help for this. So we thought that we would invite 3 companies, recruitment agencies, and ask them if they could help us. And of course they said yes. Mm-hmm. And we talked with the 3 companies beginning of May, and we came to the conclusion, or we decided that we wanted to have a firm, that we wanted to have control about the selection process. And over the last 30 years, my experience with recruitment agencies was that they do a pre-selection, and sometimes good candidates are not selected, and we wanted to avoid that good candidates for the top positions within our company in Denmark would be overlooked. We wanted to be sure that all good candidates, or that we also had a say in the selection of candidates. Mm-hmm. So the other 2 companies we talked to were typical executive search companies, which I already told. So they do the selection, and they select 3, 4, 5 candidates and present them to you. And Highr is an instrument which looks for candidates based on the profile we drafted, and we were and if candidates, the candidates were selected based on the criteria we set, And also the first contact was done by Highr, and just with the question, are you interested in a new adventure with a company from the Netherlands called, no, you were not allowed to mention our name at first.
Yeah, that's right.
We hadn't signed the building.
Yeah, that's right. We had to keep it confidential in the beginning.
Yes, that made it difficult. You told us. What it even made more difficult is that we're in the beginning in May. We were not sure about the location, so it could be close to the German border in the nearest of Padborg.
Yeah,
it could be in Nyborg. I think it's on an island, and you said yes. If it's a Padborg, then it's far more difficult to attract good candidates. And no, to make a long story short, in the end, we selected Keuye, and I think that was almost at the end of the year, and we could start with looking for candidates in the beginning of December, but still, then it was not allowed to mention our name. So what Highr did was searching for candidates with the right profile. They presented, they asked candidates if they were enthusiastic, if they would like to hear more from the company, if they were interested, and so on. And if yes, then a discussion was arranged, conversation was arranged with the candidates. And if they were still interested, then the CV was put in a system which I can't recall the name anymore. Wimmy, of course, that's the name of it. And we were able to also have a look into the CV. And we had every week contact with Henriette to discuss the CVs and to give our reaction to the CVs. And this, we like this way of working, or we wanted this way of working. We wanted to avoid that good candidates were missed.
Yeah.
So
you actually based your decision also very much on your experience and some of the issues that you have experienced over many years of working with executive search companies, which in many cases also could be a good solution, but also your experience is that there might be relevant candidates that might be missed in or overlooked or disregarded, maybe not for the reasons that you find relevant. So very interesting, Frans. What do you see actually staying in that helicopter view on the challenges of recruiting in general? Do you see any general issues with recruiting when looking back, let's say from over the last 5 to 10 years? Have you seen things, or do you see things that have been changing regarding the challenges of recruiting, looking from your point of view?
In the past, when you put an advertisement in the paper, then you could be surprised by more than 100 applications. So that made it very difficult. Nowadays, when you post your vacancy on LinkedIn with the easy apply possibility, then you're also overwhelmed by a lot of reactions. So I have some examples from, we published for a content creator, and we published the vacancy in Dutch. And we also put in the vacancy that Dutch should be your native language. You should be your mother tongue. And to my surprise, a lot of people from Spain, Italy, Hungary, Portugal, and so on, they also applied. And I had a pre-selection question: to what level do you master the Dutch language? And most of them responded none.
Yeah. And still they applied.
And still they applied. I think it's I think they told LinkedIn that if something passes by with content creator in it, then please send it to me. And the only thing, content creator, okay, easy apply, and then you have a reaction. Yeah. And one other thing that surprised me very much, and that has to do with my with my professional brothers and sisters within HR. We also were looking for an HR manager for Denmark. And we posted it on LinkedIn, and a lot of people shared it with us amongst the youth. Thank you for that. And we said that if you're interested, please send your CV with a short motivation to our career at Bedrocan address. But most of the applicants did the easy apply, so they didn't send their CV with motivation to career at Bedrocan.com. It's amazing. Yeah. It's amazing. Yeah, so very surprised. So yes, what's the difference with LinkedIn and probably other possibilities? People don't hardly read vacancies anymore, and they don't do what you ask them to do.
Yeah, so maybe it's become almost too easy to apply for a new job, so you don't maybe take the effort to even read the entire description or what you are told to do if you are interested in the job.
Yes.
Yeah, and so I presume also that with that experience, some of your decision was also based on the fact that you would like to have a good insight into the process, what kind of relevant candidates are coming up. But on the other hand, you didn't want to spend a lot of time with candidates that obviously were not relevant. So handling a lot of irrelevant candidates for the process in Denmark with that new team, setting that new team up. Would probably be some of those thoughts going through your head and basing your decision on that.
Yes, we were after our first discussion in May last year. We were convinced that Highr was a good tool for selecting candidates. Mm-hmm. And the question, of course, was: are the candidates interested? Mm-hmm. But Highr made it possible to find a lot of candidates. At first, we were a bit hesitant, mm-hmm. because medicinal cannabis and industries that are close to medicinal cannabis there are not so many of them. So we were questioning if we could find enough candidates, good candidates. But looking back, the conclusion is that we were found, or Henriette or Highr found a lot of good candidates also who were interested. And we were able, regarding the plant manager, to select a lot of candidates. I think we had with 6 candidates a Teams interview, also for the QA manager, which will be more difficult. But also Henriette Highr were able to select a couple of candidates for this position. Mm-hmm. So all in all, looking back, yes, a very good performance. So we're very pleased.
Thank you very much, Frank. And I think also what built a good foundation is that you were quite early, as you also mentioned. Actually, the first initial talks we had was early 2022, and the preparation from your side was well planned, and we had several initial meetings and discussions about the structure and the process, etc. So I think also this is part of also what made this, because it is a quite complex case, made it a good case, because also the foundation, and we got to know each other. We understood your considerations and what you needed, and the complexity of being on the distance from your side and having to recruit an entire team was a big decision and a complex process that would take a lot of time. So some of the thoughts going through our heads was also to make sure that you were included in the information along the process, where often in a regular process, you don't quite know a lot about what's going on until you meet the candidates. Where here we try, as you described, through the WIMI platform, to keep you informed and included during that process. Was that overall beneficial for you, or did it in some cases also, stress you a little bit that there was constant information about how the development was in the recruiting?
Oh, there was a lot of information, and every time when something was put on WIMI, we were notified by it. But I was not required to read it immediately, so
you could do it when you could do it when you had the time. Yeah.
And all in all, I didn't receive every day 10 emails from WIMI, so it was easy to do. And what was important that that Henriette and I immediately scheduled a weekly meeting on Monday, so just after the weekend, and discuss any new candidates and so on.
Yeah. Yeah, so good integration with the research team. So you linked up quite closely and were establishing a good flow of information to keep you posted the necessary level.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Frans, you've been in HR for quite a few years, and been handling, I guess, recruitments in also a very long time. Have you seen changes in what people are looking for when they are applying for a new job? Is there a change in what makes them interested in a job? Maybe at some point it was the salary that was the main focus. Maybe now it's something else. Have you seen a change in your time regarding that?
I don't know, to be honest.
Oh.
What I think there are still a lot of people who are not actively seeking, and probably who are thinking of moving, but are not active. So I think this is what Highr helped us with. That you could find good candidates with the right skills, the right experience, right education, but they need to be they need to be made enthusiastic. So they need to be approached either by an email or a phone call, and so this is still the same compared to 10, 20, 30 years ago. Only the tooling now makes it more easy to find candidates. So I think 20, 30 years ago, a big job to find candidates. There was not a big database like now LinkedIn, in which you could look for candidates. So, and we also have some other vacancies here now in the Netherlands, for instance, for an engineer and a financial controller, and it's still hard to find candidates. It's not enough to post your vacancy on LinkedIn, probably Facebook and so on, because these are two typical categories. You need help to find and select a candidate, to find candidates and of course, select them.
Yeah.
And these are categories. They are not very active on the labor market.
No. And when you then make a new job description or make a post for a new vacancy, is there a different emphasis in what the job entails, or do you focus on more or less the same stuff as you did maybe 15 years ago? Have you gone more towards describing more of the vision of the company, for example, or is it still maybe not? Do you know what I mean?
Yes, it's an interesting question. We have a vacancy for a financial controller, and it was very difficult for us to find candidates, or hardly anyone reacted to our vacancy post. So we asked the company, and they believe that telling a very nice story. So it starts with it's Friday in the afternoon, and you're looking back and you think of what you have achieved on. It was a very busy week, and you closed the monthly figures and so on, and you are thinking of the weekend and so on. So it's and then the idea is that this attracts candidates, and I don't think that's true. When you are actively seeking, probably you think, "Oh my God, what a long story! What a long story! What are the tasks? What are the responsibilities? Where is the location of the company?" Probably also, if you're looking for the best package, then you're also looking what they want to pay. But if you're not looking for the package, but for the best content, for the best job, then you only want to know what are the tasks and responsibilities. And but that's something that has changed. That telling a nice story, a bit poetic, probably prosaic. I don't know. I don't believe in this bullshit.
Okay. Oh, okay.
But I think it's an interesting attempt to be a little bit more creative, because I think what you point out also, Frans, is that you need in some ways to attract some attention. And some of these positions that you're describing, they get massive inquiries, massive attention, and a lot of people want to attract them towards a new position. So how can you create something that's interesting for them to go into? I actually heard about a process earlier this year. I think it was in the middle of February, and a controller at that time had more than 15 inquiries if he was interested in a job change. But then you can go in many different directions in terms of attracting attention. This is one way. I think what we did with your case was also to make a description. You made a very interesting description of the company, the mission, the culture, the project in Denmark, etc. And that helped us create some attention and awareness. And from that on, being able to have some dialogue with relevant candidates. So I think the challenge today is maybe not so much to find the candidates, but also, as you described, to attract the attention to actually create a dialogue, where many of them are being approached in a huge number of contacts, and they can't go into every attempt to make them leave their current job. So what is it that makes it interesting? And I think that brief that we got from you and that information we could give to the candidates, and also the fact that it's a very interesting industry, which is also booming and blooming, and to many is still unknown. So that is also something that can generate some attention. So building a good case of information, and as I said, you can take that in many different directions. We chose to do it this way, and I think that worked quite well. But that's maybe more or less the most important thing, because that will make it possible for you to actually have some dialogue and not just be rejected as one of many attempts to create a dialogue.
And that's very important what you said. The question, how do you get the attention? I believe in the personal approach. So the question is, how can I get in contact with possible candidates?
How will you open up the dialogue?
How can you open up the dialogue? So that's that's your expertise, and you did it very well. But how do you get the attention? How do you open up the conversation? And of course, what helped us was that medicinal cannabis is very interesting currently. So that helps probably that candidates accept the invitation for a conversation. Probably that helps. And yes, that's the question. How to open up the conversation.
Excellent, Frans. Very interesting, and thank you very much for your thoughts and sharing that with us and the listeners. Is that when you're looking back and now you have a team in Denmark, is there anything you would have done differently or could have done differently, or would take into consideration when standing in a challenge like this once again in the future?
No, when I look back, I think that everything went fine. Probably we had the first conversation in May, and we were thinking that we needed already the plant manager, QA manager, and the HR manager just after summer last year. And every time when we talked, that I had to tell you there was some delay. So. That was the reason that we started at first in December, and looking to the process. So the first contact through Henriette, then a Teams meeting, a Teams interview with Nino, the project manager for Denmark, and me, and then we made a selection for plant manager, 4 candidates, and we traveled to Copenhagen. Also with the one member of the family who's responsible for operations and the CEO, and we had an interviews in Copenhagen with 4 of the candidates, and also for the QA manager and the HR manager. So looking back to the process, that worked very well. And we don't believe in tests, performing tests and so on. That's why we thought that 2 interviews is enough. And looking back, the plant manager and QA manager started in May. They had in June. They had an induction program here in the Netherlands for a couple of weeks, and in the meantime, they also have had their holidays. And we faced some more delays. So recruiting, selecting the remaining staff, we thought it would be something for September, October that they would start. But now it will be the end of the year, beginning next year. And delays in construction.
Yeah, that's probably something to be expected.
Yes.
And you're not the first to realize that building a complex factory setup is something that can meet extraordinary challenges down the line. But I'm sure you will be well on the way. And it's very interesting to get deeper insights into your thoughts and having managed this assignment for you on the distance and looking now at a site that is more or less ready, a team that is more or less ready, and you are looking into starting production within an overseeable period. So congratulations with that, and we're glad to be able to having assisted you a little bit along the way. It's been very interesting case. So thank you very much, Frans, for sharing that with us. Mads, do you have any conclusive questions?
No, I think we have gone around all the things we wanted to talk about. And as Alan said, it's been interesting to hear about your thoughts about the process as well. I imagine there's so many things going on behind the scenes when you're setting up an entire new factory in a different country. So it was interesting to hear your perspective.
Yeah, and Alan, you were a bit modest when you said that you were pleased that you could help us a little bit. Your help is enormous.
Okay, thanks a lot, Frans. It was definitely a pleasure and something that we have also learned a lot from. So if you are ever in Denmark again, or when you are in Denmark again, you know where to find us, and we'll be happy to meet up for coffee or for lunch. So just let us know.
Yes, I'll do.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot for your time, and talk to you soon.
Okay. Have a nice day. Bye bye.
You too. Bye bye.